everybody? Welcome to the channel. So good to have you here. Uh, Today we are going to do a review, but before I do the review, just want to say, do me a favor. Um, I see you here, and I'm glad you're here. If you like the content, click that like button. We have a goal of 1,000 subscribers we're trying to get to. Help us out. If you like the content, click subscribe so you can get more. I have a lot of big plans for the show, but I'm not going to get there without your help. So click that subscribe button, and I appreciate it. But with that being said, we're going to do a review today for Echo. I finally got to finish the entire series, and yeah, so I want to go ahead and give my 2 cents after watching the first episode. I gave a quick, hey, this is what my thoughts were, but now I've seen it all. Let's talk about it. So Echo was first introduced, and it's gonna be non-spoiler. I thought about it and I decided to be non-spoiler. Um and that way we could you can watch this and get an idea of my thoughts without ruining it for you if you haven't seen it yet. But with that being said, Echo was first introduced in the Hawkeye series, which, some people didn't enjoy. I don't think it was Marvel at its best, right? WandaVision clearly set a bar, and I think the only thing that came closest to matching that out of series wise was Loki. Loki and WandaVision are probably the Marvel series at their best, right? And then there's everything else. But Hawkeye to me wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting Jeremy Renner having some burn, even though it wasn't really Jeremy Renner. Hawkeye was necessarily his show. Was more of a show like of Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, along with what's her name's Hawkeye. Whatever. Anyways, we are going on a tangent. So, anyways, uh, Echo was first introduced in the Hawkeye series, and I like the character. I like the character in the comic books, and I like the character in Hawkeye. But a lot of people felt like she was a wasted character because she didn't. She wasn't as good as she could be. Um, I thought it was a good introduction. So then we move on to Echo, and Echo now she has her own series, and I have to say that the trailers were good. So the build up for this for me was good, and I'll start with what I liked. So first off, what I really loved was Marvel's dedication and commitment to an authentic Choctaw experience. I think I'm sure you've all seen the specials where they had people there on set and they had a whole committee to ensure that they were doing things and representing the Choctaw people accurately and in a way that was a proper way to represent them. And I thought that was fantastic. Um, I thought the representation there was beautiful. Um, uh, uh, if you've never had an opportunity to experience a powwow, it is an awesome experience. I've been to quite a few. So all of that whole piece of it in the act was awesome. Also, uh, like Echo. I like the character. I like the actress. Uh, Alakwa Cox. I apologize if I mess your name up. She's great. So of course, Vincent D'Onofrio. That is my dude. Don Frio. Sorry, I'm messing your name up, brother. But he is awesome. He was my favorite character in Law and Order. That was my favorite Law and Order. I love him as an actor. He is fantastic. Him as Kingpin, I mean, he is a powerhouse as Kingpin. They couldn't have picked a better person to be him in the Daredevil series, and then of course now having him in the Echo series. Just the cast overall was fantastic, and And I love the little girl that plays Maya too. She's really great. So I really enjoyed that. Echo in the comic books superpower is that she is able to duplicate basically anybody's fighting style. So if you come at her like if Captain America came at her one way, she could duplicate Captain America's fighting style. If Hawkeye, she could duplicate his fighting style. That wasn't the case in this series. I'm not gonna, like I said, it's non spoiler. But they definitely take a different route. And I liked how they introduced her her powers, her new powers, the direction and the tie into her culture and her people. I thought that was cool. Um, but I think that's all of it. They do a good job also summarizing her without. So if you hadn't seen Hawkeye, they do a good job summarizing who she is for someone who never saw Hawkeye. Now, I'm saying that, but at the same time, that's a negative for me. But we'll talk about it when I get to the negative. So overall, though, um, yeah, I thought they did great. I liked her. I liked her power because she's already a badass from a fighting standpoint. So adding that power to it was cool. I liked how I'm about to spoil it, so let me stop. I liked her power; it was cool. And again, I liked the representation, and the cast was great. All right, so what didn't I like? I'm gonna start with the summary. So, like I mentioned, they do a wrap up of who they kind of bring you up to speed of who she is for someone who never saw Hawkeye. But even though it was like, oh, okay, I get who she is. The whole series, I was hoping they would dive into who, why she was show more of the badass that she was, the badass piece to her because she's like an anti-hero and the anti piece of it, the badass piece of it was like so she did this. There you go. Now you know how gangster she is. And I was like, do we though? Do we? I felt it was rushed. But it's 5 episodes, which is strike two for me. I think this character done right could have had their own solo movie, to be honest. I think it could have been just as powerful as a Shang Chi or a Black Panther. Like I, if done right, I think that she could have had her own movie. But clearly, Marvel didn't know if they would have the audience for that, so they went the series route instead. But you did 5 episodes, so it's like if you didn't feel like she was going to be able to lead a movie, why do a 5 episode series? It's so short. And when I say short, I'm talking about pace wise. It's just like, okay, she does this, great, moving on. Okay, she's this, great, moving on. It's like, ah, man, if y'all spend a little time if y'all would spend a little time in certain aspects of her life, I think some of the payoffs that you were hoping to pay off in the latter episodes would have had a bigger impact. Which leads me to my next thing that I didn't like, which is uh the buildup was there, but they didn't land the plane for me. Now, the ending was okay, right? And I say okay because of the buildup. Here's what I'm saying. If you build me up to here, then I want the payoff to be here. If it's down here, even if it was good or what was okay, because you didn't execute it up here, it makes this look even worse. And that's kind of how it was for me. I was just kind of like, oh, oh, that's it. Oh, okay. Because the build up to the conclusion, I was in it. I was like, okay, let's go. And then it ends, and I'm like, oh, okay. But that's because again, I think everything was so short that the payoff that they were looking for isn't quite the payoff you get because you're not really convinced. I don't. It's hard to talk about it without spoiling, but I just wasn't. I didn't. I wish I could. I wish they would have spent more time in certain aspects of Maya's life. I didn't. They don't sell me. They didn't sell me on how gangster she was, and they don't sell me on her need to do things different. Those two don't pay off for me. Sorry if that's a little bit of a spoiler. I don't believe it is, but if it is, I apologize. But they don't sell me on how dope, how gangster she was, and they don't sell me on her need to want to do things differently. So the end doesn't really quite land for me like I think they intended it to. So with that being said, what is my review? It's you're probably gonna think I hated it, but I didn't. It was okay. It was cool. It's worth, in my opinion, it's worth the watch. So on a scale of 1 to 5, uh, 5 being fantastic, must see, 1 being zone out, skip this one, it was trash. I give it a 3. You know, first off, again, it's on Netflix, so Netflix, Disney Plus, so it's not like you gotta pay to go to theaters to watch it. I give it a 3. I just wish they would have knew what they had in this character, and if they were going to make it a series, I really wish they would have invested the time and really drive home some of the things that they introduce you to this character. However, all that being said, I think it's enough to keep her in the Marvel MCU, and I really hope we get to see more of her, because I think there was enough there that I enjoyed it. I was good with it. I've seen some of the headlines. I didn't read any reviews because I didn't want my opinion tarnished at all. So I just watched the series, and I have seen some headlines where people trash it. But for me, it was cool. It was good. It's a 3. But they didn't land it. They didn't land it because they didn't invest the time to get you invested enough for the payoff to pay off. But it wasn't bad. We've seen Marvel bad, right? It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And so, but it was good. I really hope there's enough people here to who watch it, and it drives Marvel to say, okay, let's keep her in the MCU because I like the character. I do, and I want to see more of what she can do. And Kingpin is crazy, and I'm so glad we have him. And we got Daredevil coming, and I'm assuming Echo will make appearances in the Daredevil series. I'm assuming. I hope. Um, but yeah, it's a 3 for me. However, I will say this: it looks like Marvel has turned a page, and they're headed in a direction that I like, which is let's get back to uh, 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 investing in the some of the dark side of Marvel, because the violence is definitely there in this one. And so I like that because I was a little nervous about that, especially with Daredevil coming to MCU. How would it be? Because the Netflix Daredevil series is crazy. But it looks like Marvel was like, no, 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 no. We're going to do this that way. And I like it. So, anyways, do me a favor. Let me know y'all thoughts. It's a 3 for me. I hope I didn't spoil it for anybody. I don't believe I gave any spoilers, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And again, help me get to that goal of 1,000 subscribers. Do me a favor, click that like button and subscribe and share with others. Until the next one, I appreciate y'all. Peace.